Expecto Patronum! Welcome back to Movies TV Mad. Of course, you can follow me on Twitter at Movies TV Mad. And welcome to Movies TV Mad Live on this Saturday evening. So welcome. Of course, if you're rewatching this, I'm speaking to you because right now there is no one on this video whatsoever. So that's what's going on right now. I'm on my own. Like, share, and subscribe, of course. Check out my poll. Best first movie, Man of Steel, or The Batman. Should be an interesting vote, right? I don't expect many people in tonight. Saturday nights are normally dead. I'll stay here for about an hour and see how we get on. And so welcome to Movies TV Mad Live. What is the future of the Batman universe? That is another question mark That's another question being asked at WB right now because nobody knows. It's very quiet on the Batman front. It's weird. Just like the other situations with the DCEU. They're weird. We need some kind of clarification, and they're not going to give you any clarification right now. And that's where we are. And it's very, very sad because DC is a huge IP with so much potential, and it's very sad, you know, when something is mismanaged, something as iconic as DC is mismanaged, because it would be easier to make DC a success in live action than it would be to make it a failure. But these people seem to manage to do that all the time, so I don't know what to say about it, really. It's very, very disappointing. As a DC fan myself, the first film I ever saw was a DC film, Superman the movie, still the greatest superhero movie of all time. No VFX, no internet to promote it with. Wonderful film. It does everything a superhero film actually should do. And considering so many people argue about, you know, the boss battles at the end of superhero movies, well, Superman the movie doesn't have that. He's actually having to stop an earthquake. He's having to stop floods. And so, yeah, it's the best movie. John, hey, Mick, how has your weekend been so far? Very well, thank you. Hope you're doing well, John. We're, as usual, talking about the state of DC. Yes, the Superman the movie is the greatest superhero comic book movie of all time. What it was able to achieve with no technology, really. I mean, there was a few effects houses, of course, but nothing like there is today. I mean, some of the VFX today is embarrassing. The DC Batverse 94. Where do you think the Batman sequel will be announced? When? Well, the question is if it will be announced. Look, I don't know. Wonder Woman 3 was announced just after Wonder Woman 84 was released. If that gives you the kind of picture of the kind of thing that Toby Emmerich does. He was very, very, very kind of big boy when the movie was first released. And he said, you see, you don't need to be part of a connected universe to have a successful film. But nothing about a sequel. They have discussed 2 spin-offs on HBO Max, Arkham and the Penguin one that they've been talking about. And it looks like it's happening, but there doesn't seem to be any timetable. So when do I think it will be announced? Well, I don't know, because it really should have been announced by now. And I think that's what the concern is right now. What is going on? Why hasn't it been announced? Why was Wonder Woman 3 announced just after Wonder Woman 84? A very bad movie. This studio doesn't make sense. Of course, it doesn't help that, you know, there's been a merger and there's new leadership. And they may have different ideas to what Toby Emmerich had. And this complicates issues. What does Zaslav think of the Batman? Does he think it should have a sequel? Theatrically, nobody knows. Does he want to send the Batman universe straight to HBO Max? I don't know. These are the questions that I'm asking and other people are asking. But unfortunately, we don't have any answers right now, and that's a shame. And what happens next is anyone's guess. I think shocking things are going to happen. I think shocking announcements will be made. I think people will be surprised. People will be also excited and frustrated because this new leadership has invested a lot of money. And they're not here to be charity workers. They're here to make money. And we'll have to wait and see what happens. I can't really predict what will happen, but I would imagine, yeah, things will be taken down. New things will be brought on. It's one of those things. There's been such mismanagement, in every level at WB, but especially with DC. And now they find themselves in a situation where, John, any news on Miller? No news on Miller. No news on Ezra Miller. No, there won't be any news on Ezra Miller right now, especially on a weekend. But yeah, it's a messy situation. There's really no way they can clean this up without binning Miller, reassessing the Flash movie itself. There's no way out of this. There's no way out. There's no way they make money out of that movie with Miller involved. And unless you're deluded, people should be able to admit that. There's no way. There's no way Aquaman and the Lost Kingdom makes money with Amber Heard. It was different the first time. And listen, I would imagine that Shazam! Fury of the Gods, as I've already said, and Black Adam will release on date. They're having reshoots, so we'll see what they do with them. But as for the other two movies, it's an unknown quantity. The Batman sequel, an unknown quantity. We thought it was a foregone conclusion, and all of a sudden, it doesn't seem so certain anymore. And this is what happens when you get a merger, because they may have had other ideas, the company before, Emmerich, but these people have come in and said, well, very quickly via a Variety article, we're going to overhaul DC live action, that the branding is rubbish, that you may have got a couple of wings, but it's not good enough. And so clearly they don't think it's good enough. And big decisions are going to have to be made. Because when they decided to do the multiverse strategy, I was very comfortable in, although the DCEU was a mess, and what they did to Snyder was awful, and Justice League was awful, but the Flash movie was going to clean all this up in my mind. With a multiverse strategy, we could start again. But with Miller misbehaving, the two movies kind of delayed till next year, if you believe we'll see them next year. And that's when things became clear to me that it's still a mess. And as I said last year, for all this to work, the Flash movie has to work. Well, they've already moved it. There's already problems. No word from the director, no word from his sister producer. It's very suspicious. John, hopefully we will find out what is going to happen with DC on May the 18th. Upfronts are interesting. I'm under the impression that upfronts announce what's to come rather than this year. This year. I don't think it'll be next year. Who knows? Rather than giving you a map, a roadmap of what they're going to do. They could absolutely do that. But, I don't know. I really don't know what the hell is going on. These movies have got dates. At the moment, The Flash is released next June. Aquaman and the Lost Kingdom is released next March. But looking through what we've seen with Ezra Miller, he committed a crime once, then 3 weeks later he did it again. So there's clearly a serious problem here. And no one can twist the narrative on it, because once is bad enough, but twice? It's no good, is it? No one's got control of this lad. So, I think the thing is, we can look at these release dates and say, well, they're release dates that are going to happen. But when you know via Variety that they're talking about overhauling the whole franchise, that tells you something as well. There's too many things. And I said this from the beginning, when the Flash movie was delayed for 7 months from its original date. I said, something is going on here. And people didn't believe me. They didn't want to believe me. But it looks like I was right. I'm quite comfortable, as I keep on saying, in being wrong. It's okay to be wrong. I don't mind being wrong. I'll be happy to be wrong. But clearly, the movies were delayed for a reason. Things don't happen on their own. Look at what Sony did with the Spider-Verse movie. It's not on, really. This is not the way you deal with consumer-based content and companies. You can't wait till you get to the year, then delay films. It's disgusting. For example, if the reason for the delay of The Flash and Aquaman and the Lost Kingdom was, oops, we don't got no movies next year. So as I said on today's DCEU Daily, why not just originally say that The Flash and Aquaman and the Lost Kingdom have been released in 2023? It doesn't make sense. Nothing what they do makes sense. It's mystifying. I've worked in consumer-based companies. I've worked in a toy shop. I was a senior sales in a toy shop years ago. I worked at the Co-op supermarket. I worked in a phone shop selling mobiles and selling 1,000 units a month. So I'm pretty kind of aware on what you do and you don't do in a consumer-based outfit. If you work in consumer-based sales, you don't call your audience toxic masculinity. Disinferno, I want a superhero movie that feels amazing but not dumb at the same time. John, sorry mate, but I cannot support the Flash movie if Ezra Miller is involved. Well, exactly, John. And most people who I'm speaking to feel exactly the same way. And David Zaslav and Discovery know this. Toby Emmerich knows this. Toby Emmerich's still trying to find a way to keep this guy in this film. But there's no way The Flash gets released as it is. Because David Zaslav isn't going to allow a film that replaces Superman with Supergirl to be released anyway. Because via that Variety article, we've been told again, he's not happy that Superman's been put on the top shelf. So we know there's dissatisfaction from Zaslav and Discovery. They're making the same noises we've been making for a long time. The Miller situation, if you have fantasies about restoring the Snyderverse, this makes that situation problematic. I think the most important thing is to find a way to have great DC live action content that makes money, that we, the audience, can enjoy. And I just don't feel the bastardized DCEU, which is the Hamadaverse, and even the Snyderverse, it's done. Disinferno, Ezra Miller is such a talented actor, but they're going to mess him up. No, they didn't mess him up, my friend. He messed himself up. Now, filming The Flash and Fantastic Beasts 3 back-to-back wouldn't have helped the situation. Making him the lead of the new kind of bastardized Hamadaverse DCEU wouldn't have helped. But he's his own man. And I would say this is not an ill man. This is not a mentally ill man. I would say this is just a spoiled brat thinking he can get away with it. And I mean, as I say, we're not talking about Russell Crowe. We're not talking about Marlon Brando here. We're talking about Ezra Miller. It's hardly a big loss. They replaced the female character from Batman Begins in The Dark Knight. Nobody gave a shit. So for me, it's not a big deal. Just bin it. Just bin it. But they don't like binning Hollywood DNA, do they? And that's the problem. Good evening, everyone. Welcome to Movies TV Mad. This is Movies TV Mad Live. Smash the like button. Check out my poll. Best first movie, Man of Steel, The Batman. 8 votes for The Batman. At the end of the day, they can't control his behavior. He's responsible. Sorry, they, as he refers himself to, they are responsible for themselves. So, listen, I'm a consumer. I ain't a fucking doctor. I ain't a charity worker, right? I was promised 4 DC movies this year, and I'm not going to get them. I was fully aware they had no movies for next year apart from Blue Beetle. They went from saying they were going to have Blue Beetle on HBO Max next year to theatrically. Listen, these people are incompetent fools. There's no question about that. There's no way forward with The Flash. I believe Aquaman and the Lost Kingdom can scrub Amber Heard out very quickly if they want to. Now, I would imagine that Black Adam, as I've said, and Shazam Fury of the Gods will release on date. Unless they don't, who knows? But I would imagine they're planning to make sure those films release. There's very few leaks about Black Adam as well, which is pretty good. But yeah, and the fans and the consumers, the kingmakers as I call us, are left with our, again, we were excited about the multiverse strategy. They came up with a plan to fix the mess that is the DCEU. And the very movie that's supposed to fix this, there you go. Mandarin Mail, The Flash should just be cancelled and they can just focus on the Batman universe, Black Adam and Aquaman 2. If it was me, I would start again with a brand new franchise. That would be me leaving the DCEU behind forever. I don't know what the plan is for the Batman universe at this moment in time. We've heard about 2 spin-offs on HBO Max, and that's that. And Matt Reeves not as forthcoming about that as he was a few weeks ago, so I certainly don't think The Flash will be released as is right now. Whether it'll be cancelled, whether they'll walk away from Miller, I don't know. He's connected, so I don't know. But it's not a good look. And because of what they did to Johnny Depp, it makes them look so stupid. Mandarin Mail, DC needs a Kevin Feige because WB are not comic book fans. Well, listen to me, my friend. WB kind of don't look. It's an interesting thing of you to say, right? Kevin Feige isn't a Marvel fan. He just has Marvel knowledge, right? I'm sure he likes and admires the franchise. But the point is, there isn't a Kevin Feige. There's only one Kevin Feige. But you do need a DC Studios, and you do need someone to run it. And you need to populate it with people who know how to produce and make television and films. And you need people populating it from DC Comics who understand and love these iconic DC characters. Disney are not Marvel fans. Disney, they're not. Leroy Kong, hello to you. Sorry I'm late. Man of Steel is a masterpiece. They should still keep Henry, Ben and Gal. Gabriel's in on us. Hello, Uncle Mike. I sent the Cody rebuild. Oh, thanks, boy. Thanks, boy. My phone's switched off now, so I can say it doesn't mess with my Wi-Fi while I'm doing this. But I'll open it up later, Gabriel, and I'll sort it out. Thanks, mate. Leroy Kong. Bruce Tim, for sure. For sure. Thanks for that, Gabe. I appreciate it, boy. My Cody's not working. Should I be talking about Cody on here? Marriott Mail, the Batman should start a new connected universe, just like Batman, the animated series, started from being a grounded show leading to a huge connected universe. Very true. John, who is Bruce Timm? Bruce Timm is an iconic producer, animator and director that basically ran the whole of DC Animation. He still runs the whole of DC Animation. Gabriel's in on us. Going to church soon. Okay, boy, have a good time. Leroy Cog, it is such a shame what is happening with Ezra Miller. Well, he's a criminal. He's hurting people. It's a shame for his victims, for sure. It's amazing how many people have got sympathy for this man. No sympathy for his victims, though. Gabriel's in on us. Bye. Bye, Gabes. Thanks, mate. Celebrities kind of enact this sympathy from people more than everyday people. I think it's kind of, I don't like it. I don't like it. I don't feel sorry for millionaires, spoiled brats. This is Movies TV Mad Live. We have 4 viewers, 4 likes. Smash the like button if you haven't already. Please subscribe. If you have subscribed, please make sure you're still subscribed. Check out the poll. Best first movie, Man of Steel, 9%. The Batman, 91% with 11 votes. John, I see a lot of channels trying to defend Miller. It's disgusting. And if I get anywhere near them, I'll give them a piece of my mind. Man with Mail, Ezra is a coward, not a man. Because a real man would never harm a woman. Someone needs to recast him. Yeah, but because he's got connections, he's getting away with it. This is the problem with Hollywood. They're actually showing how toxic they are by supporting him. Grace Randolph is defending him. Lots of them are. Leroy Kong, Lucas Till. Leroy Kong, Lucas Till. So it's one hell of a mess. One hell of a mess, everyone. That Leroy Kong, again, they should scrap this Flash movie. They should scrap everything DCEU and start again. Nothing should stay. Nothing should stay. It's been a mess from day one. Let's start again. I don't think we can pick and choose what's scrapped. Alex, I definitely prefer MOS to the Batman. I'm surprised how skewed the poll is. I'm not, because most of the people on this chat are fans of the Batman. They're the Batman stans. That's why it's so low for Man of Steel. I would pick Man of Steel personally, but then I'm a Superman fan. So I'm not surprised about the poll. It doesn't actually mean the Batman's a better movie. It just means there's more people here that are Batman stans. A poll is never a representation of what's more popular, especially on a small platform like this. Leroy Kong, Man of Steel is way better than the Batman. Come and have a chat, everyone. Let's warm the chat up. I wasn't actually going to do a video tonight because I've got problems with my tummy. I thought I'd come in anyway. So I will stay here until there's an hour on that clock by the word live. And then we'll call it a day, but we'll stay here for a while longer. Because Saturday nights are notoriously dead on here anyway, so. What are you going to see in the cinema this weekend? Are you going to the cinema this weekend? I was going to do the poll Man of Steel versus Superman the movie, but I think I've already done that. But my mind is so Swiss cheese I can't remember. Leroy Kong, again, I think Zaslav should get rid of all these clowns at WB. I mean, they're certainly clowns and they certainly shouldn't be in their jobs. But unfortunately, people in Hollywood fail upwards, not downwards. So this is the industry. And unfortunately, we don't have much power over it or control over it, unfortunately, which is very, very sad. John, the next movie I'm going to see in the cinema is Doctor Strange 2. Cool. Not long to go for that. There should be reactions to it soon. Of course, they're all going to be S.H.I.E.L.D. The movie will be S.H.I.E.L.D. like all the other MCU movies. So, no, there's never any accurate kind of reactions for MCU movies. I'm assuming this is what it was like every time the Beatles had a new song. It's the best song ever. Leroy Kong, they should let Henry Cavill appear in Shazam, Fury of the Gods, Black Adam and Wonder Woman 3. This is Movies TV Mad Live. It's a very quiet night tonight. That's why I'm sitting here a bit quietly, because there's nothing to feed off of, really. To be honest, I'm just going to stay here till another half an hour. We'll see how we get on. Please like the video. Check out my poll. We have 15 votes. Best first movie, Man of Steel 13%. The Batman 87%. Leroy Kong, it's a real shame that the fan base are so divided over Zack Snyder and DC. Yeah, this is why we need to start again with a brand new live action universe and just forget it all. Move on. Move on. Leave it alone. It's the only way we're going to find common ground. John, Doctor Strange 2 has been banned in Saudi Arabia. Yes, I heard. I have no idea why. I'm sure there's a reason. It's probably because of Scarlet Witch, I would assume. So I do think they have some backwards attitudes towards women. Obviously, women killing people might not be their thing. Who knows? I'm not sure how much money they would have got from Saudi Arabia anyway, but hey. We know that Disney always do bend the knee to China, so to make sure you get that release, because it's such a huge population. Of course, the Batman would have made more money if China didn't have a bout of COVID at the time. I think it probably would have reached this $1 billion then. I mean, even now with Zaslav here, there's no one to speak for DC live action. Walter Hamada just doesn't talk. He should be communicating. The Batman is a much better film from a narrative, character development, script performance, and cinematography point of view. It's just better overall film. I'm not sure about the cinematography, Hisham Kishi, but clearly you're a fan of the Batman, and that's really, really good. And obviously you have your biases, and people who love Man of Steel are going to have their biases. That's how it works. Everyone comes from their own point of view, their own truth. No one speaks a universal truth, of course. Everyone speaks from their own truth and their own point of view, and that's fair enough. Of course, Man of Steel was a harder film to make than the Batman. It's got a lot of VFX. There's a lot of hard things to do, hard things to pull off visually. That's why the Batman was such a cheap movie to make. Creation K, good evening, Mick. And good evening, Creation K. The floor is yours. Don't get me wrong, I really like Man of Steel, but I have a lot of issues with it from a narrative point of view. Well, I don't think you're the only one there, but it is what it is. Creation K, no way. 88 to 12% in favour of the Batman. How? Well, there's more people, there's more stands of the Batman coming on the video. Trill J, the Batman is way better, more comic book accurate. Batman doesn't kill. It don't need a lot of CGI. It portrays Batman as a hero. And the end, not a hero with the flaw of killing. It's so much better than MOS. In your opinion, of course, yeah. From your point of view, that's your truth. That's not a universal truth, by the way. But from your point of view, it's a better film. John, Doctor Strange has been banned in Saudi Arabia because of a gay character. Oh, because of Thingy Jig. I forgot her name. Brian Branch. Of your attitudes. Brian Branch, sorry for it being long. What? Trill J, Creation K, because it basically put hype back into the mess of DC. Brian Branch, I love the Batman and Man of Steel. Cool, cool, cool. As do I. As do I. Yeah. Creation K Trilogy, I believe a film should be evaluated on its own merit rather than comparing it to its environment. Creation K, but I understand Trill J. John, what are some of your favourite scenes in Batman 89? The opening is awesome. The Joker, when the guy shows him the mirror and he starts laughing and smashes it, that's pretty awesome. I love the bit in the restaurant when he gives her the mask and everyone else starts choking to death. That's awesome. I love the bit when Keaton is flying around in the back, whatever it's called, and he's flying, and all of a sudden you get the music. That's so cool as well. There's a lot of great iconic things. Leroy Kong, Man of Steel is very accurate. We want more. Leroy Kong, very sorry. Trill J, Creation K, look, the question is, which is the better film? And I'm more than sure that the majority will say the Batman is better. Well, the majority who are Batman stans will say that, not the majority of the film-going audience. Necessarily, that could be a situation, but ultimately, even if everyone says the Batman's the better film, it doesn't actually mean it's the better film. It's just opinion. Because it's all about what you think. Creation Game, how was your week been, Mick? Sorry I haven't been here recently. Been busy with assignments. What interesting things have happened with you this week? Well, I'm not going to tell you. Lots of interesting things have happened to me this week, but I'm not going to discuss them. But yes, it's been fun doing the YouTube channel and doing the videos and talking to you guys. Leroy Kong, Man of Steel is an excellent movie. Ouch. Man of Steel is an excellent movie, yes. Well, I think there's a lot of snobbery about Man of Steel, I think, because it's made by Snyder. Question K. Oh, no problem. I meant in the realm of movies. I think you have talked about on here. Chill J. It's an excellent movie, not an excellent movie, though. I mean, that's a deep dive. I mean, it depends how you see Superman. If the idea was to tell a story, then it's only the beginning. So we haven't seen the conclusion. You can only really judge Man of Steel, really, after Justice League 3, I think. That's the way I see it. And it depends what you compare it to. But clearly, because of its box office and because it didn't even get to 1 billion or even 800, you could argue that the audience rejected it. Alex, Snyder's Superman is more human, Imo. It's about the journey to becoming a perfect Superman. Children, it could have been excellent if his dad didn't tell him don't save the bus kids. Nevertheless, they are both great films. Well, Jonathan is protecting his son. That's why he said that. He didn't tell him not to do it before it happened. He said he shouldn't have done it because it exposes his identity. He's trying to protect his son. So that's a very fatherly thing to do. Crashing a Trill J, the opinion of the majority does not always mean it's true. Nevertheless, they are both great films. True. Leroy Kong. Henry Cavill is the best live-action Superman. He's one of them. He's not the best in my point of view. That would be Christopher Reeve. John, the only one that can compare to Batman 89, Joker, is Cesar Romero. Alex, Trilogy, Parkhead delivers the same soul. Well, Park Kent is protecting his son. which is a very Park-Kent thing to do. Children, Creation Game, I understand, but this is show business, not friendly business. These people are trying to make money. They need the majority. Creation Game, Mick, do you play or no of many superhero video games? Nope, I don't. Brain Brunch, I think the fall of Warner Brothers Snyderverse was they rusted the storyline's shoulder, had it in phases like Marvel to rush like Batman introduction, should not had him come in BVS, my opinion. I don't think that's the reason there were problems. I think the content of Batman versus Superman is more problematic than them, jumping on Batman from the second movie. Hisham Kishi, MOS isn't really for film fans, and that's totally fine. I'm sure that Snyder made it for comic book fans. I tend to lean more towards films like the Batman because I've always been a fan of noir cinema. Trill J, nobody but Snyder rushed that bro Warner. Didn't like how dark his history was. It's funny when people call Man of Steel dark, because BVS is 20 times darker. Actually, BVS makes Man of Steel look like a very light movie. Brian Branch, Ben Affleck should stay as Batman for the DCEU. I wouldn't bring in Keaton, even though he was my Batman as a kid, but he doesn't fit the DCEU to me. It'll be interesting if they do abolish the DCEU, what that actually means. Children, I'm talking about BVS because Bros said Warner Brothers rushed Batman. I don't think bringing a Batman in a second movie of the DC Cinematic Universe is rushing. You would expect him to be in the second movie. It makes sense. Maybe not in a Batman and Superman film, though. Basically, it's a mess. We all know it's a mess. It didn't work out. And when something doesn't work out, you've got to stop being stubborn and say, right, bye-bye, let's walk away from this. Let's start again. The experiment simply didn't work. Hishan Kishi, what movie do you like more, Mick? Man of Steel. That's because A, I'm a Superman fan. I love sci-fi. I love lots of CGI and VFX. And it's just a cool movie and I enjoy it. And I love the Batman as well. Trill J, Leroy Kong exactly finds of DC want the same character for every film. This is why it will never reach its true potential. It's not about what fans want all the time. Just enjoy directors' visions. Nah, disagree. It's a consumer-based, entertainment. It's consumer-based. You can't just say, this person has decided to make a new version of tomato soup. Instead of tomatoes, right, they're going to put custard in it. They're still calling it tomato soup, but it's actually custard, right? It's literally fucking custard. They can't turn around and say, you should just like our vision. You should just like what we've created. But it's not tomato soup. Do you understand, Trill J? So you can't blame fans for the DCEU going wrong. That's just a cheap thing to say. It's, studios, films, you need the consumer. Without the consumer, the kingmaker, it doesn't work. So we can't just keep on seeing, directorial kind of visionary movies. If they want to make visionary movies, they should make their own movies and get out of comic book movies. I'm not saying you can't have a vision, right? And there can't be a place for that vision like Todd Phillips' Joker movie, But there's got to be a place for that. And it's not in the mainstream. Kishan Kishi, yeah, I agree. MOS is a great sci-fi movie. I love it. It rings my bells. That doesn't mean I see any issues with the Batman. And I love it, but I love the escapism. It's not a slight on the Batman. It just, I know what I like. Leroy Kong, it's not cheap. The Snyderverse are moaning and bitching and complaining. Yeah, I know, Leroy. I know. They're just saying they want Zack's vision to return. They want his art to return. Now, some people are problematic, but most of the Snyderverse fans are very, very good people and are fighting for something. And that's it. It is cheap. It is a cheap slide. It is. It's a consumer business, Leroy. Consumer. John, did you see the Uncharted movie? I did. Trilogy, hear me out, mate. Listen, Marvel fans are able to adapt. Yes, I get it. Fans do have a chance, but we all know these DC fans are not together. They want too many things. Marvel fans don't ask for too much. Well, Trilogy, shall I ask you why Marvel fans ain't asking for anything? Because they've got an easy mainstream universe. That's what they want. And, right, the people who don't like the Snyderverse, which is the majority of the mainstream audience, want a mainstream universe. And the Snyderverse fans want their universe to continue. It's really quite simple. The MCU fans don't have a complicated situation like that. So it's not DC fans' fault that this has happened, right? If the MCU fans had a similar situation, they would be crying and screaming as well. So you can't just say, oh, the Marvel fans are easier going. That's just twisting the narrative again. That's why Marvel fans aren't complaining. And actually, the Marvel comic book stands, hate the MCU. They're just not allowed on the internet. Henrik, evening everyone. Marvel fans got it made. Have they? Have they? They're just seeing the same movie every time. Every release, it's the same movie. Just wrapped up in a different wrapping. Is that what I want? Nah. Trill Henry, what's up? So the Marvel stands, the MCU stands are actually the mainstream audience. They're not real Marvel fans, most of them. This is a question for Marvel fans only. What is it about the MCU films that you love? I genuinely want to know. I tried getting into them, but they failed to make an impact on me. Henrik, Trilj, good, chilling with you guys. John, so will DC ever get a multiverse movie? Well, that's the $1 million question. The Flash movie is supposed to be a multiverse movie. It's there. It's ready to show. Whether they'll show it, that's the big question, isn't it, John? Trill J, so Mick, do you still think Superman shouldn't be left as a relic of the past? Well, I can't remember saying that. I think Superman needs to be Superman. He needs to be pure-hearted. He shouldn't be snapping people's necks. I want Superman to be Superman. I've never mentioned the name Relic. I don't know. Maybe you were talking to some other Mick. Henrik, most of the MCU film are fun, tough, but weak CGI and too many jokes. Why my palette it for DC always have been? The MCU is what it is. It is what it says on the tin. It's never going to change. Trilogy, no, I said that was a relic of the past. You said no. I'm asking, do you still believe they should keep trying with him? Of course, I'm a Superman fan. I know. I'm a Superman fan, so of course I want them to keep trying. It's not that difficult, Trilogy. You just need an imagination and Superman comic book knowledge. He's amazing, just like Supergirl. Supergirl is an amazing character in the comics, but they don't adapt from the comics. They make it up as they go along. Henry, think we get a Superman movie this decade? Oh yeah. The new leadership definitely want that, so it's going to happen. We live in very difficult times because of how political Hollywood are today as well. So it's difficult. It's difficult with all movies now, with the direction they're going in. But they definitely keep trying with Superman for sure. If anything, they haven't tried hard enough. Trilogy, yeah, but it seems like everybody's moving on. It even seems like Goku is more interesting than Superman. Well, you see, Trilogy, you know why you're saying that, and everyone doesn't feel that way, just a few people you talk to, because you're not a Superman fan. So it's not everyone, it's you and a few people. I don't know who the fuck Goku is. I don't care, right? But at the end of the day, Superman is a great character, and adapted and worked on by the right people, he can be amazing. So no, people are not moving on. They're not. Superman fans and the general audience would embrace Superman over Goku, whatever his flipping name is, anytime. Hishan Kishi, the issue with MCU films for me is always seems to question what's going on, and it takes me out of the film. I guess the only way I can enjoy an MCU movie is if I turn my brain off while watching. Yeah, that's the best thing to do. Henrik, I'm just saying a Superman movie with Mick as Lex Luthor and Tom Welling, make it happen. WB. Obviously, if you're a Batman fan or fan of other things and you're not a fan of Superman, you're going to start saying people have moved on. And this first line Trilogy says here, Trilogy is contradicting himself. It's not because I'm not a Superman fan. Yes, that's what it is. You're saying people have moved on. If you were a Superman fan, you wouldn't move on, would you? I actually am. I just think he isn't as high up as he was. Like everybody is surpassing him because they haven't done a good job on him. That's why he's being surpassed. All it takes is a great Superman movie, and he surpasses everyone. Simple as that. So to just dismiss it and say, let's not bother with Superman, it's not really something a Superman fan would say, in my opinion. A Superman fan wants to see them trying, wants to see more content, wants to see that brilliant Superman film, just like we had in 1978. It can be done. But shrugging your shoulders and saying, well, everyone's moved on, no. Brian Branch, do we really think that's the reason? Because Snyder's movies was dark. Matt Reeves' movies was just as dark to me. I think it's more differences to me. I actually don't think the Batman is anywhere near as dark as Snyder's movies. Manic Pride, reboot Superman in reverse, make him more grounded and fresh take. John, maybe Ben Affleck could be in the Marvel Secret Wars movie as Daredevil. Oh, God. It wouldn't surprise me, though. Trilogy, I want to see him done well, but I don't know. Honestly, he's kind of the reason why we're in this mess. You see, Trilogy, you're talking, yeah, I have to say, I believe what you just said is utter nonsense. That's not the reason. Superman is not to blame. The creatives, the people in charge are to blame, not Superman. But if that's your opinion, good luck to you. Brian Branch, I think they should give Henry Cavill one more Superman movie to wrap up his vision. I think what Trilogy is trying to say is anime characters have become extremely popular in today's world. They'll never be more popular than mainstream characters. Anime will never be mainstream. Never. I'm sure, but there's lots of Superman fans out there, but they're not as vocal. Well, they are, but you're around other fans probably. Trill J, Malik, can't put Superman in Reeves' verse. Matt Reeves is good with grounded characters, not a Superman. Well, I don't want Matt Reeves doing a Superman anyway, so that's handy. We want people to work on characters because they like the characters, not because they've been forced into it. Harry Selick, Dragon Ball Z is pretty mainstream, but that's the only one really, exactly, which doesn't make it doesn't make anime mainstream. It makes one element of anime mainstream, but that's it. Man Pride, different director, but in Reeves' verse. Well, no. I just don't see that happening. But you're not blind, you're not deaf, you all know the situation. David Zaslav, the new leader of this company, has said he wants Superman. He wants Superman front and center. He wants it taken off the top shelf. So that's what's going to happen. Whether you believe in Superman or not, that's exactly what's going to happen. True, Jay. Besides, Superman needs to be in the DCEU, not other parts of the multiverse. Well, there won't be a DCEU soon. So there'll be another mainstream live action universe, I would assume. But yeah, we want him in the main timeline. Yes, we do. Yeah. Harry say anything but that Black Superman project, please. Woke nonsense waiting to happen. Henrik, we know that they are wanting a soft reboot with the Batman on Earth 2. Would be cool if we got a Superman and other heroes in that Earth. But I just don't think that's what Matt Reeves wants to do. If he gets the opportunity to expand on his universe even, we're going to have to wait and see. Trill J. Harris, he might actually make them $2 billion, honestly. I personally don't think the Superman of Color one will ever happen. From what I can see from Zaslav, he's probably going to tear everything down and start again. Everything. That's what I sense anyway. I sense something dramatic. Harrison, I hope they convince Reeves to do a full-on DCEU. I don't know. Doesn't seem to be that type of guy. Trill J, do you know how many people will go to the theatre to see a black Superman? He'll trend more than Clark. I'm sorry, but let's be real. Well, that's real from your point of view. I mean, can I ask you a question, Trill J? Are you a person of colour? Maybe that's why you think that. I don't know. I mean, cultural bias is a big thing today. I don't think people are going to the cinema because a character is a certain colour or from a certain culture. What that does, the Superman of colour, a Clark Kent of colour, what that does, it divides people, which means it won't make as much money as the OG Superman would have made. Henrik. Henrik, at Trilj, don't want a black Superman, don't want a black Constantine. There are plenty of black good characters, just stupid. This message was held for review. Harry Selick, he's got a decent point. Many people want to watch Black Panther, and that movie was shit. Listen, I don't think people went to see it because he was a black man. I think, obviously, there's a lot of black people who are Black Panther fans, but Black Panther's popular. That's why people went to see it. It was part of the MCU. So again, no, I don't agree with Trill J there. Trill J, that's not why I think that. It's just the truth. First Superman of colour, just like Black Panther. I'm telling you. So, but you didn't answer my question, Trill J. Are you a person of colour? It's not a big deal, right? because cultural bias is a thing today. I mean, I don't have cultural bias. I don't want a Greek Cypriot Superman. I think it's about wish fulfillment. But yeah, Black Panther is a popular character. That's why people went to see it. Hishan Kishi, I don't think Matt Reeves would be interested in creating a DCEU. Reeves is an auteur and lives in 70s cinema. Manic Pride, Superman is not a real person. He can be any ethnicity. There are Supermen with different ethnicities already. You don't have to culturally swap the main OG Superman. Brian Branch, Warner Brothers shouldn't have a problem with a dark Batman movie. Batman is dark, not colourful. Bat Super, a mainstream appropriate Superman could potentially become even more popular than MCU movies. I believe it can be done. Henrik Trujay, good, yeah. How about a white Black Panther? Ha ha ha. Harris Selleck, yeah, I think if it's a good Superman movie, people will go see it. It doesn't matter if he's white. Trujay, yeah, I'm a person of colour, but I'm not a biased person. Trujay, Henrik, it could work. Braden Branch, choose your words a bit more carefully, Brian Branch. Let's be careful how we speak here, yeah? Let's be respectful. I don't look at people as a colour or as a culture. I don't put people in boxes. I treat people as an individual, on an individual basis. Brian Branch, and I'm a person of colour, so no. Manic Pride, none of them are real. Superman doesn't exist. Thanks for the breaking news. So he can't be any ethnicity because he's not real. Well, he can because people have seen the OG Clark Kent and Superman as a white person, right? In multiple movies and in comic books. So just because he's not real, which we already know, thank you very much. So that's where this discussion is going. Again, that's just twisting the narrative. That's like me locking the car so you can't get in. So you go to the back door, which is unlocked. Brian Branch, Black Superman, I hope it doesn't come to film. I'm sorry, but no. Crazy K, I can step in here and say sometimes I am mixed race. Counting as a person of colour, I personally would not feel more inclined to watch a Superman movie of any movie just because someone is black, etc. Hishan Kishi, all this talk about Superman, and I'm still sitting here waiting to see the Nick Cage, Tim Burton Superman film. You'll have a long wait. Trilljay, yes, he can. Batman is a comic. He's white. Manic Pride, you saw him as white. New people will see him as black. If they do, it's okay. Well, Malik, the thing you're forgetting here with your propaganda is that there are already two Superman of colour in the comics that they can adapt. So there's no need to adapt the OG Superman as a black man. Do you understand? So you're twisting the narrative for no reason. There's already two Supermen of colour in the comics already. I'm sure you're still going to go on with this propaganda and ignore what I've just said. Harry Selleck, Superman really shouldn't be blackwashed. There shouldn't be any blackwashing or whitewashing or anything, right? Because, as I say, there's already two Supermen of colour, actually, who have probably got a better backstory than the OG Superman anyway. Bat Super Dean, Bat Super, oops, hit sent again. Henrik, but we don't want the movie or all of the fans just want a new movie with Henry Cavill. Creation K, but apart from me, I feel that the general population would be quite split. Like Mick said, more people from a certain group would go and less from other groups. An effect could be adverse. Manic Pride, none of them are real low. Malik, we know. Your argument is void because we know he's not real. Your argument doesn't work. Clark Kent can be anything because it's all made up. No. You're wrong, Manic Pride. You're wrong. Take the L, take the loss, and give up. Trilljay, my Superman man is a white buff guy from Kansas, but it might work for DC. Brian Branch, Black Panther movie was awesome until the third act. The third act was terrible. Harris Selleck, they could make a Calvin Ellis HBO Max show if they really want to. They can put him in the cinema. That's what I mean. Calvin Ellis is an awesome Superman. President Superman is an awesome Superman. Val Zod is an excellent Superman. Great backstory, probably the best backstory of any Superman. So they're already there if you want to be inclusive. No one's saying they don't want to see these Supermen of colour represented. What we're saying is the OG Superman is not a gentleman of colour. Even Ray Fisher hated on that news. Just think about that for a minute. In fact, I know many people of colour who hate the idea of a black Clark Kent. So that's interesting. Henry, you are so wise, Mickey, teaching us about characters. Creation K. Hopefully original ideas with characters who they are actually can be introduced into live action more and not in a weaponized way. Wouldn't that make a change? We have 23 votes on my poll. Best first movie, Man of Steel, 22%. The Batman, 78%. Hussein Kishi, I like the villain's motivation in Black Panther, but that's about it. The movie failed on many levels for me. Yeah, it certainly did. The villain failed in the end as well because they tried to make him sympathetic. Because in Hollywood eyes, if a person of color can't be a villain, that's how they think. Trill J, and besides, got plenty white Superman, the black could make them 1 billion, beating MOS. Well, Trill J, then use Calvin Ellis, a black Superman. Then Trill J, use Val Zod, a black Superman. Then they can make $1 billion each out of them. But the OG Superman, not going to work. Malik Pride. First of all, they wouldn't even do a black Clark Kent. Well, that's the plan. Even if they did, it wouldn't matter. Aquaman was also white. He's not anymore, but that's enough for me on that subject. Yes, there's only one Aquaman, and they decided to change his culture, and that's fine, right? But there's already 2 Supermen of color in the comics that you can use. So you have those options. Trill J, I never said Clark Kent, I said Val Zod. Maybe out Clark Kent in theatres. Well, considering they're from the same company, there's no beating another member of DC. Well, it's all a family, so it doesn't really matter. I know people don't understand that, but that's super. We had a raspant Superman in the 90s, but he looks close to the character. And look at it this way. There's 2 black Supermen. There's no native and there's no Native American or indigenous Superman. There's no Asian Superman. So that's interesting as well. So it seems to be the most represented minority getting represented again. Henry, use Val Zod as Superman and Lois. Make new movie with Henry Cavill. That's the end of it. Manic Pride. There's also a black Aquaman emote, but they still decided to change Arthur Curry, so it's happened. And it was the highest grossing film, lol. Yeah, that's Aquaman, not Superman. There's a big difference. It helps that he was played by someone like Jason Momoa, but Aquaman and Superman, my friends, are not the same thing. And again, because you keep on stepping over this to win your argument, and you keep on losing, even though you said you weren't going to talk about this anymore, there's 2 versions. There's 2 black Superman they can use. So why would they use? Why would they use Clark Kent? You're not making sense. You're jumping over the fact that there's already 2 black Supermen of color. That's why your argument is void. Bad Super. Dean Cain is half Asian, but he wasn't playing an Asian Superman. No, you can barely notice. He's white. Henry, well, Aquaman is not Superman. Ooh, Trill J. Henry, Val Zod is going to be in theatres. Malik Pride, mate, you're just repeating yourself. Take the L. Believe me, I'll run you round in circles. Trust me, because it's not real. So you can change things that are made. But there's two black Supermen in comics. So why do you have to change Clark Kent? If there's already 2 black Supermen, you're not mentioning that because you've lost the argument. But you keep on coming back to it because you can't win. And you won't win against me in this argument. If I'm wrong, I'll hold my hands up. But I'm not wrong about this. And you should just take the L, right? But super, exactly. I didn't even know he was half Asian until I was an adult. I didn't even know up till now. Henrik, Trill J, I have no faith in that. Ha ha ha. Kissing Mick, why do you think Hollywood is hiring small indie directors for big budget films? They got Ryan Coogler, who directed amazing indies like Fruitville Station and Creed to make Black Panther. They just wanted to pick the first black director they could find to say, look, this is about black people. We have a really famous black director, because he already did Creed. He already did Creed before he did Black Panther. So they knew of him. Because they're so lazy, they said, oh, there's a black director there. Let's just use him, right? That's how they work. Believe you me. Trill J, Malik, the comic character is white. Move on. Val Zod will make more money than Man of Steel. Kevin O'Dokia, I'm part black, and I couldn't care less about a black Clark Kent. Now, if they made a Steel movie who was a black man and was a version of Superman in the mechanized suit of armor, I'd be down for that, as I would be. Manic Pride, just giving you a different point of view, mate. It's larger issue than movies. No, it's not. We're talking about movies. There's already two black Supermen in the comics. Again, you're stepping all of that. It's not just a different point of view. It's because you're trying to hit it. You're trying to hit it back, and you can't. It's like I'm in goal and you keep on shooting the ball at me and you can't score. That's it. It's not about more than movies. That's exactly what we're talking about. It doesn't go beyond movies at all. Bat Super. Personally, I don't feel the need to have my race represented in these characters, because I never even think about race when I'm watching these movies. Exactly. Because characters are wish fulfillment. Superman, Christopher Reeve, wasn't a Greek Cypriot eating a doner kebab while he's flying. He's a white guy. And when I saw him, it's wish fulfillment. I wish I was Superman. I wish I had his powers, right? It's a hero's journey. And people today just don't get that because they don't have an imagination. Harrison, what's your favourite Avengers film, Mick? Probably the first one. I like the first one. Infinity War's really, really good. I think the first one's pretty good before the franchise got annoying as well. And that's the film that made the MCU popular as well. People were hating on it before that. Trill J, Malik, no need for a black Clark Kent. Trust me, Val Zod would make a ton of money. He's not going to listen to you. He's got his ideas now. That's it. He's just going to go around in circles. There you go. Look. Here we go. Look. He won't leave it alone. He will not leave it alone. Manic Pride. Movies have impact on people larger than movies. When you talk about race, which you are, it becomes a larger issue. No, it doesn't. You're wrong. Of racism. No, you're wrong. I don't care. I do care about winning. Just offering you a different point of view. Good day. You do care about winning because you keep on jumping over the fact that there are already two Supermen of color in the comics that can be used. And you're not making that point because you don't want to make that point. As I say, take the L. It is not about racism, right? Because black people are the most represented minority in every industry, including the entertainment industry. So there's no racism to talk about. There's actually two black Supermen in DC Comics that could be adapted into live action. So your conversation is void. It's not about real life. We're talking about fantasy. As you kept on saying, Superman isn't real. Bat Super. There are tons of awesome POC characters they can and should use. Why do we not have a static movie? Well, they're supposed to be developing it, but they're developing a lot of things we'll probably never see. Children, but the chat is pretty positive today. Yep. Harry Selick, but super static shot movie would be sick. Yep. Manic Pride, I understand the two black Superman. All I'm saying is that they are trying to be inclusive because they recognize the large issue is the real world. That's all. And but considering, right, considering there's two black Supermen and you can adapt them to live action, right? So if they're trying to be inclusive, why don't they represent an Asian Superman, an indigenous Superman? Why is it always black people that get represented? The most represented minority in every industry. It's a fair point, right? But considering you understand there's two existing black Supermen that can be put into live action. So that's the representation there already. You don't need a third black Superman. Isn't that just being greedy? Bad Super, Harry Selick, it would be so awesome. Harry Selick, Creation K, technically infinite. Nobody's saying we don't want representation. Why do we need three black Supermen? Why do we need to void the white Superman? That's racist. That's actually racist. That what you're talking here, Malik Pride, is extreme left views. That's what your view is. That's what we call SJWs. Harris said it. They only talk about representation when it comes to black people. Exactly, Harris. Not interested in indigenous people, right? The people they stole America from. Let's be honest, right? They don't talk about Asian people. Would they ever have an Asian Superman? I'd love an Asian Superman. Let's have an Asian Superman. No, no. Because it's all about optics. Hey, Shinkichi, let's get a Captain Planet movie made to inspire people to get rid of pollution. Yeah. But you know what the problem is? Even as much as I love talking about the environment and I care about the world I live in, when I watch a film, when I watch a comic book movie, I don't need real world issues, right? I like biopics and things like that, and that's great. But when it comes to comic books, I don't want to be in the real world. I don't want to talk about real fucking issues. Manic Pride. If black people are represented a lot, that probably because of the history of slavery and the world trying to right that wrong. I have no views. Asian Superman would be cool too. So you're saying that black people, because black people were slaves, they're more represented. I don't agree with you there. Because Asian people have had their issues and have been cruelly treated years and thousands of years ago. Every race, my race, the Greek Cypriots, had a war with the Turks, with Turkey, right? Many of our people were killed. Many of their people were killed. We could all point to our history. It's not just black people that have had a cruel history. And that was a long time ago. It's done. It's in the past. Get over it, right? It's like when Jewish people keep on trying to remind people about the Second World War. Get over it, right? And now they're being cruel to the Palestinians, right? See what I'm saying? Malik Pride, no, just saying the world is trying to right their wrongs of the past with everything. Well, their wrongs can't be righted. They were slaves, right? They've actually have been righted because they're not slaves anymore, right? Ta-da! Herring's fan, Dabby Dozy, get over it. Henry, get over it, right? Live in the now, people. Bonesaw is coming, Mick. I always thought you are a Cypriot Turk. No, I'm a Greek Cypriot. Cyber Warrior, Oscar Isaac will play Harvey Dent. Two-Face next. Harris Selick, Jake Gyllenhaal as Hush would be cool. Yeah, Jake's a great actor. Creation K, Harris Selick, that's an interesting call. Creation K, Harris Selick, that's an Cyber Warrior. Dave Bautista as Bane. Harris Selick, Cyber Warrior, maybe he was pretty good in June. Cyber Warrior, what do you think about Justice League future? Well, I would like to see a Justice League with an established DC world and not slowly building it out. It's there, it exists, it's ready to go. Henrik Chill J. Morgan Freeman as the new Superman. Heshan Kishi, here's an opportunity to cast a Hispanic actor as Bane, since Bane is Hispanic in the comics. It's amazing how we're all obsessed with where someone comes from these days, who they represent, rather the storytelling in the movie. I don't like this element now. Because the problem is you can't represent everyone. So this is what happens. There's ill feeling. Well, you want to, they say they want to be inclusive, but they're only inclusive to certain races. It's no good. Harris Selick, Morbius is better than the whole of the MCU and the DCEU. That's super. I was surprised yesterday when I realised Rebecca Ferguson is Swedish. I'd forgotten that I watched her in a Swedish soap opera back in the 90s, 2000s. Wow, didn't know that. Henry Kishan Kissy, how about an Indian Superman? How about a snail playing Superman? Hey, we've got to represent snails, right? Cyber Batman, Joker, Riddler, Penguin, all of this are white, not black, Hispanic, Arabian, or Asian. Hishan Kishi, Henry, I don't think there is an Indian Superman in the comics. Henrik, snails for the wind. Harris Selick, there's an Indian Spider-Man. Cool. That's super. There's an Indian Spider-Man. Cool. Henrik, there's an Indian Spider-Man. Cyborg, right now I feel so disappointed with WB. Yeah, you and all of us. Hussein Kishi, yeah, there's a Lebanese Green Lantern. Well, you see, because there's not just one Green Lantern, there's many of them, isn't there? They're different characters. So you can do so many different things with that, and it's cool. Summer Warrior, Superman film can be the greatest superhero film of all time if James Cameron directed it. Yeah. Bat Super, I really wanted to see the Atom movie that Snyder had in mind. That would have been cool. Bat Superman, Sam Raimi's Superman with J.K. Simmons as Perry White. It will be a hit for sure. For sure. Bonesaw is coming. Mick, have you seen Grace's latest video on YouTube? She claims that Ezra lost someone last February and it was a real tragedy. That's why he's acting all crazy. Listen, I couldn't give a shit, right? People go through stuff. She's talking, she will say anything. Are you telling me this woman isn't an agent of this studio? Nobody cares. No one's going to go and watch that film. He's actually throwing a chair on somebody's head. Is she justifying him losing someone, right? By him acting in a fucking horrible way, by him calling a woman names. She's trying to justify this. It doesn't matter if he lost someone, right? I lost my parents in the space of 2 years. In the last 2 years, I've lost my mum and I've lost my dad. Do I go out, right, to Iron Apple and start attacking people? No. It's bullshit. It's bullshit and she's bullshit. Subway, I believe the future of Batman are bright if Matt Reeves still direct it. I mean, she's terrible. She really is. If he can't handle the real world, he should lock himself up somewhere, right? We all go through shit, right? It's no excuse. They're really trying hard to protect this guy, aren't they? Really? Hishan Kishi would be cool if they made a Superman film that takes place on Krypton for the majority of the film and ends up with an adult Superman escaping to Earth. But that would change Superman's origin story. It certainly would. Harris Selick, it's because he fits their narrative low. Yup. Hollywood DNA. He lost someone, and that's why he's acting like that. Cry me a river. Cry me a freaking river. Bat Super Mick, you have to look up Superman Unreal Engine 5 demo. Someone made a playable Superman demo. Yeah, my brother told me about that. It sounds awesome, doesn't it? They won't make a game, so we're making games now for them as well. We'll be making films and television shows for them soon. What a crazy company, eh? What an absolute... unbelievable. Really is. Kissing Mick, will you be watching The Northman? I've already seen it and I really, really enjoyed it. A great, bloody, violent revenge thriller, and it's great. It doesn't have to be deep. It doesn't have to be profound. We can actually make movies of something action-packed and bloody and compelling. But yeah, great. Brownstone's coming. Mick, do you hate Ezra Miller? How can I hate someone I don't know? Of course I don't hate Ezra Miller. What, that would be wasted, wouldn't it? And, but the point is, he's hurt people. He put a scar on a woman's forehead. He called a woman. He went into someone's apartment and abused a couple and the woman. He's broken the law. If I did that, I wouldn't be working. My reputation would be toast. Why do they in the industry get to get away with it? It's not about hate, Bonesaw coming. It's about talking directly about facts. This has nothing to do with hate. If you did that or I did that, we wouldn't be in a job. That's super. Another guy also made a playable Batman 1989 game where you can drive the Batmobile and Gotham looks just like the movie. Wow, there's some clever people out there. Joel Davies. Hello, Mickey. Hello, Joel. Joel Davies, do you think United are getting top four? Absolutely no. It's over. I never believed they would win today. Look, it's a mess. Ole Gunnar Solskjaer created this mess, and it needs to be fixed. It's very, very sad, Joel. Bizarro, good evening, people. Good evening, Bizarro. One more comment and we're going to wrap this up. I was only going to do an hour today, but when I get sucked into a debate, at the time, I forget about the time. Which is good. We had a good long show. So I will take one more comment and then we'll wrap it up. Henrik, you've got to watch a movie tonight, Mickey. I'll probably just put the TV on or something till I fall asleep. Bonesaw is going, Mick, I saw a lot of people saying on Twitter that the revealed Blue Beetle suit isn't actually the Blue Beetle suit, but a Power Ranger suit. No idea. I saw it, so obviously I showed it. He's saying, Mick, if you had a choice to reverse time and go back to the 80s or 90s, would you do it? Or would you choose to stay in 2022? No way! COVID, masks, vaccine debates, people hating on each other, this crazy fucked up world. No way would I stay here. I'd definitely go back to the 90s or 80s. Bones Ray's coming. You still think it's a Blue Beetle suit? I don't know. I have no idea. Hishan Kishi, wise choice. Right, let's check out our poll for one last time. Best first movie, Man of Steel, 23%, and The Batman, 77%. So the Batman wins that. I can't take today's world seriously. Everything made sense 20 years ago. Nah, it doesn't make sense because the world's gone angry. We gave the world a messaging board, the internet, where they can say whatever they want. That destroyed our civilization. It made people angry. One person says one thing, someone else says another thing. People come in on people for no reason. There's bots, there's trolls. The internet destroyed our world, no question. Of course, I'm sitting here complaining about it while I'm using it, but there you go. That's the hypocrisy of everyone as well. Kishi, would love to hear your full thoughts on today's world in video. Oh, wow. Maybe one day, yeah. It's just a messed up, angry world. It's because we gave people a microphone and platforms to sound off constantly. And this is the problem. It's unnatural. It's unnatural, basically. Because you hear one person's point of view, you get angry, you say something else, and it's like a tennis match. It's changed the way we lead our lives. The world's gone mad because the world believes we can create a perfect world. You will never have a perfect world. Human beings are flawed. They're not good all the time, and they're not bad all the time. We're incomplete people. And until society, this crazy society, understands that, all we're going to do is hate on each other. This has been Movies TV Mad. I admit, your host with the most. Just ask your girlfriends and your wives, please like, share, comment, subscribe, hit the notification bell so you never miss this beautiful perfection. I'll be back tomorrow morning with the DCEU Daily. Be sure to check it out. I'll be back tomorrow evening with another Movies TV Mad Live. So until then, goodbye, au revoir, auf Wiedersehen. Thank you very much, everyone. Bat Super. See you next live. Thank you, Bat Super. Thank you, everyone, for the support, even the people who hate me. Thank you for the 9 likes. Thank you for voting on the poll. And thank you for your continued support. Until tomorrow, goodbye. Creation K, thank you, Mick. See you another time. See you again soon, Creation K.